Three ways on how to communicate better. So you're probably wondering, what is the importance of communicating? Well, there's quite a bit of importance actually, because we do it all the time. Think about it. In a text message, it's very hard to understand what the person's saying. I can interpret what you're saying to be something different than what you actually meant. This happens all the time, especially in the dating environment. And it's a little bit better whenever it comes to us speaking person to person or on a video or over the phone, because you can see and hear the person's voice. You can feel the tone in their voice and the way they're talking. So there's a lot of things that communication helps and also hinders. Obviously, like I mentioned, with the texting platform, it makes it very hard because you can't get that tonality from the person you're speaking with. You can't understand exactly what they're trying to say. You don't know if they're mad, if they're sad, if they're happy, what's going on. I mean, you have exclamation marks, you have emojis that help a little bit, but not too much. But that's not what I'm talking about exactly tonight. I wanted to give you 3 tips on how to communicate better, especially for those of you that are beginners. I want you to really listen up. Tip number 1, eye contact. Now, on the video, I have to look into the lens. I'm doing 2 videos, so I might not look directly at you at every single moment. But making eye contact, if I just sat here and looked down like this, trying to do my video and talking to you, you would think, well, Philip, you're not even looking at me. Like, what's going on? And that's exactly how it is in real life. Think about dating again. Think about just having a conversation with somebody. If you aren't looking at them directly in the eyes, they're going to think, well, what's going on? Are they really telling me the truth? Are they lying to me? Hey, Kevin. Hey, Nick. Thanks for hopping on. So you have to have that eye contact. That's the very first thing, having eye contact. I see a lot of people that get nervous, especially with presenting. Engineers are probably the worst about this because they're so introverted. But they just kind of look down. Even though they really know the information, they look down, and it's just so hard to understand what they're talking about because they're not looking at you. So do they know what they're talking about? Do they not? You just can't get a feel for that. So make eye contact, number 1. Number 2, vocal variation. Again, engineers really bad about this. They don't want to look at you in the eyes, and then they'll talk to you about their subject. And today we're going to talk about electrical engineering and how, I don't know, you split the atom. That's totally not electrical engineering, but yeah. So we're going to talk about my project today, and it's just very monotone. And as you can tell, that was way different, and it was really hard to follow along with me. So it was having that vocal variation, because just like the difference between a text message and a video, you feel that emotion. So when I'm really excited, I get in here, I start smiling, and my voice raises, and here I am waving my hands around, right? Or if I'm really mad, you're going to see me got tense up. You see my muscles tense, and there's a lot of things you can do. And I know it's more than vocal variation, but my voice will change. You'll feel the intensity or the delight in my voice. You know, me get really quiet whenever I want you to really listen in, right? I'll even lean in. That's a little different, vocal variation. But changing the way you talk really helps. And if you want to bring a point across, think about it. Your dog, right? Whenever your dog won't listen, what do? You don't say, "Hey, Dexter, come here, man. Come on, Dexter. Dexter, get over here." You get angry with it. So, and that's when they pay attention. Let's see, Kevin says, my first 4 or 5 podcasts were tough. Yeah, my eye contact into the screen. Or that was Nick, sorry. Yeah, very true. You got to have that eye contact. It's a huge thing, especially on phones. We want to look at our face because the screen is facing us. But you got to look at the actual lens for it to look like you're looking at us. So I'll do that. I'm looking at the lens. Now I'm looking at my face. I mean, you can tell the difference when I'm looking at my face versus I'm looking at the lens. You can tell it's almost like I'm looking down on you. And split the atom. Yeah. Thanks, Sam. First form all the way. And then third thing. So first one was eye contact. Second, vocal variation. And then don't use big words. So you got to speak like a 5th grader, especially, again, you engineers. You got some crazy stuff going on. There's a lot of information you have to portray. Kind of seems like a big word. Anyways, you have a lot of information to get out, but if you speak on such a high level that people can't understand you, then what's the point of even communicating? I could give you all sorts of big words that make me sound really smart. They call them $10 words. But if you don't understand what I'm saying, it doesn't matter how polished I sound, how much vocal variation I use, how much eye contact I make. You don't understand. And the whole point of us communicating is so you can understand. At least you can understand the message I have, or we can communicate back and forth until we figure it out. But if I'm using those $10 words and I'm using this language that you don't understand, then how are we going to get anything done? So communication is very important. Kevin's got another comment here. Agreed. I really get into my podcast now. Or sorry, I keep saying Kevin's name, but Nick, my bad, Nick. I agreed. I really get into my podcast now. I'm enjoying the guests and made it a conversation with my friends. Yes, exactly. Especially with podcasts. That's a great point, Nick. You have to have that conversation. I see a lot of people, especially starting out with their first podcast, where they've got a list of questions for the guest. And what do? Oh, okay, I got question A, and then the guest answers it. Okay, let me go to question B. The guest answers it, and the C. And it's very one-sided conversation, and it's very boring. So you have to be able to talk back and forth. So if I ask you a question, hey, how was your day going? Oh, it's good. Oh, okay, yeah. So what did you do today? Just kind of hung out. Okay, ask the question back. I know you're the guest, you're the host asking the question on the podcast, but still, especially as a guest, ask that question back. Or if the guest doesn't ask the question back, fill in with it, help out with that, especially if they tell a story that's relatable to something you've had. Mention that story. So coming in and communicating and bridging that gap. You don't want to, I know it's a little extra, but on the podcast side, you don't want to just have it question, answer. That's super boring. Exactly. I always make a joke and tell people I graduated at a 5th grade reading level. Yeah, exactly. 5th grade reading level. That's about where people say everybody reads at. And so we want to make sure that we're speaking on that 5th grade reading level. If a kid can't understand it, honestly, adult probably can't. Yes, they might be able to pick up on it a little bit more, but you have to be able to explain it that way. Let's see, Robin. Hey, Robin. Hope you're doing well this evening. But that's the 3 ways on how to communicate better. 1, eye contact. 2, vocal variation. And 3, don't use big words. If you have any additional things that you think should be on the list for beginners to learn on how to speak and communicate better, I would love for you to drop those in the comments. And I appreciate all of you that have came on, but drop those in the comments. Let me know what you do to speak better, because I want everybody to learn how to speak better. But with that, hope y'all have a healthy and blessed night, and communicate with that eye contact, that vocal variation, and the use of small words, not big words.